Are you looking for weight loss motivation? Are you looking for realistic, obtainable weight loss results? This is the video for you. I'm going to share with you a 12-week body transformation, and it is my very own transformation. If you're tired of seeing these extreme makeovers that are not sustainable, that is not the case here. This is something that can be done by any of us and see amazing results. So let's jump into it. Hey guys, welcome back. My name is Danielle and this is Daniela Diaries. Here we are inspiring to inspire everyone, you, me, everybody, to be the very best version of ourselves. Now, everybody's version will differ, and that's okay because we're all uniquely made. But as long as we are elevating ourselves, living life to our fullest potential, and just putting out good energy and being the very best version of our own self, then that's what it's all about. So if you are trying to find like-minded people and just really find a really safe space on the internet, you have found it, and I hope you would stick around and subscribe. We touch on a little bit of everything: weight loss, wellness, day in and day out, grocery hauls, full days of eating, you name it, you'll find it here. It's a very own page in my very own diary. So I hope you like it, stick around, share the video, share the channel, and let's grow this place. So I did it. I finally finished my 12-week mini cut, and I am going to be completely honest with you. It was hard. It was hard. It was very hard, but it was very challenging in the best way. There was days that I wanted to give up, but I didn't. And I wanted to stay the course, and I wanted to share those journeys, those weeks with you guys, because it's not always going to be easy. Because let's face it, if it was easy, everybody would do it. If weight loss, wellness, fitness, whatever you want to call it, was easy, there would be no overweight people, right? Everybody would be slim, trim, doing the thing, healthy. It's very easy to find comfort in food. It's very easy to skip the gym. It's very easy to just say screw it, and it is what it is. But we are fighting that urge here. We are uplifting ourselves, and we are really promoting the best version of ourselves, and we are pushing ourselves to be the very best version of ourselves. And that's why I did it. I wanted to do something hard because I wanted to prove to myself and to you guys that it could be done. And I did it. 12 weeks. So I started a 12-week cut. I started it in January, and now here we are in April, and it is done. So I also want to kind of give you guys a little, what do you call it, preface this little disclaimer. The scale is not indicative of success. So I know that a lot of people are going to say, oh, well, you've only lost this amount of weight. I really thought it could be more. That's really discouraging, this and that. You know, I do want to say that not everybody is the same, right? So I don't have necessarily a lot of weight left to lose. Maybe 10 pounds, honestly. Maybe if that. Honestly, if I didn't lose any more, I probably would be okay too. But I'm pretty much okay with where I'm at. I'm sitting at right now about 170 to 171 pounds. That's okay for me. I'm 5'7", so it's good for me. I'm okay with that. Now, if you're looking for extreme pounds lost, then that's not going to be me. We are not promoting extreme dieting, extreme restrictions, alienating food groups, giving food morality. None of that will be found here. This is a very safe space, and I want you guys to feel safe here, and I want you to not feel ashamed or bullied into things. You know, I feel like as uplifting as the weight loss community can be, it also could be extremely alienating and very much bully type of behavior. You know, especially when, you know, you're discussing certain food groups, you know, there's always going to be somebody on there who will suggest to you to do this or to follow that, or this doctor said this. We're not doing any of that here. We are just encouraging one another to do the best we can. And if the best you can do is just getting out for a 20-minute walk every day, then honey, I am proud of you, because those 20 minutes, you could have just said no and laid on the couch, okay? So before we jump into that, let's just give that disclaimer. We are not giving food morality, we're not shaming, we're not body shaming, we're not food shaming, none of that stuff, okay? So, and I feel like we need to discuss that too, because nobody wants to hear someone discuss or critique or say harsh things to somebody who's overweight. And I feel like we should also say that to people who maybe have comments about female bodybuilders. I've noticed that I'm getting to that side of the the world now, where maybe I'm not getting comments about me being overweight, but now I'm getting comments of like, you're gonna look like a man. You know what I mean? So I really want to like be open about that and address that, and also tell you guys that it is just as cruel to call somebody fat as it is to say, hey, you're gonna look like a man, or I don't like the way you look, or you look disgusting. It's equally as cruel, and it's body shaming nonetheless. So let's do better, let's be better, and let's teach our kids to do the same. So how did the 12 weeks go? So the beginning, it was a very slow, it was a mini cut, it wasn't a pure cut. And basically what we did was we had to reverse diet me for a very long time. Now, if you guys are new here, I was on keto for a very, very, very long time. And in that time, I have severely damaged my metabolism. And it was, my body took that very hard, and it was a big struggle. And it took some time to heal my metabolism. And now when people say, how do you heal your metabolism? Basically, you have to get it up and functioning again. I went so long with under eating and not eating properly that my metabolism was basically just pure slug. It was like sluggish, it wasn't doing what it needed to do, and we had to fix that. And how we fixed that was balanced eating, smaller meals, more frequently throughout the day, to kind of make sure the tank was full and constantly running. It was just, it wasn't stopped, it was just kind of idling through to keep it going, okay? And that took some time. In that time of, reversing, like reverse dieting, and it really took some time, but the scale was still moving for me. So it was really surprising that I seen that, and I was really happy, and my coach was really happy with that. Now, if you're looking for a coach, I have an amazing coach. Her name is Brenda. If you guys are on Instagram, her information is under @roofs and quads. I believe she is now taking new clients. So if you guys were interested in working with her, you can go on her Instagram and follow her link and see if you can go ahead and work it out with her. I've also started dipping my toes into, I don't want to say coaching because I don't see myself as a coach, but just assisting people with the knowledge that I've learned and have now. I've been on this for about a year, and yeah, would I coach myself? No, because I'll lie to myself. I work better being accountable to somebody, okay? You have to know that about yourself. If you could coach yourself, like I know my friend Nicole Burgess, she coaches herself. She's really good at that. I'm not good at being accountable to myself because I like to BS myself every chance I get. And I have to be very honest about that. So and I always get comments like, oh, I don't have the money. And I understand that, but I also make sure I go without a lot of things throughout the month so I can pay for coaching. It's just a personal, thing that I am willing to give up to pay for her. So carrying on, currently right now I am working with my best friend, and she was very similar to me, where she was, I think when you're overweight your whole life, you're always on a diet and you're used to being hungry. So for my best friend's example, she was only eating maybe one meal a day, maybe two. And I had to set her up a meal plan. I figured out her macros. I was like, all right, here's your meals, eat your meals. And then we started a week early. I gave her meal plan, and I wrote her out a at-home workout. And I said, this is what you're gonna do. I want you to start eating 5 meals a day. I couldn't do the 6 for her because she wouldn't have been able to do it. And for her, the workouts weren't hard, it was the meal plans. I am gonna do a separate video that'll be out next. I believe it'll be out on Friday, where we're gonna talk into going kind of more into depth, like should you do a meal plan? Should you do macros? How do you figure out which one's which? And I'm gonna wanna talk to you about how maybe to create a meal plan for yourself. And if I could help you, maybe, I'm thinking maybe in May, I might take on like 2 or 3 people. Right now I'm working with 2 people, my best friend and somebody else, just to make sure that I kind of know what I'm doing, and we're seeing consistent results. So I think in May I might take on 2 or 3 more people completely free of charge to see if, I can apply that to others and then go from there. If you are interested, it is going to be very limited. This is going to be free. If you are interested, email me and say May coaching. It'll be for 4 weeks, completely free of charge to you guys. And I will develop a meal plan for you with the macro breakdown. So if you want to choose to do macros, or if you want to choose to do meal plan, you'll have that. and then it'll be an at-home workout, because I know a lot of you guys are interested in at-home workouts, and I can send that over to you guys, and then we can go from there. But furthermore, let's go on to my progress. So in the 12 weeks, how did it go? I did a lot of cardio, and I always tell people this too. I don't think cardio necessarily, I didn't want to share the amount of cardio I did because it necessarily wasn't something that I would tell others to do. And we're going to go from there. But I also did weight train a ton. I was working out 6 days a week, 5 days of training, cardio at home most days, and eating. You guys see my meal plans, and I was doing a lot of carb cycling. I still promote carb cycling, so I don't think, I use my food for the reasons of energy, right? I need to eat certain things to keep me going. So on weight training days, I need more carbs. On non-training days, I get less carbs and a little bit more fat. That's just how it works. And I find it to be very beneficial, and your body utilizes all the food groups accordingly. So I did really well with that. My eating was really good. I still was getting a treat meal once a week up until I believe we got 8 weeks in, and then the treat meal was cut. That for me was the hardest part, because because it kind of took away the social aspects for me. I enjoyed the little treat meal, you know, but I got through it. There was a couple refeeds I had to do, but nonetheless, it was pretty good. So how much weight did I lose on this transformation? 7 pounds. I know 7 pounds doesn't seem like a lot for you guys, but 7 pounds for me is pretty good. It's very hard for me to lose, especially now that I'm getting so close to goal, I guess. I guess goal for me would probably be about 165 pounds. And 7 pounds was really good. Now, I wasn't so much concerned about pounds lost, but more fat loss. And I feel like I'm going to insert some pictures. This is the picture that we have from the beginning to the end of the cut. And you could tell right away that my legs have gotten smaller. I am very, very bottom heavy. All my weight pretty much goes to like my butt and my legs and my thighs. And that's where the most stubborn part for me is. As you could see, my butt is higher, it's rounder, it's not as low. My legs are a lot smaller. The cellulite is decreased. My waist has gone in. I'm very lean up top. Up top here, I am very, very lean. I don't carry a lot of weight up here. So that was like the first thing I noticed. Even in like my face, I feel like my jaw bones, my cheekbones are popping. A lot of those things were very pronounced. So I was really happy with that. What did I learn on this cut? I learned that I can do hard things. I learned that in 39 years, I can finally say I'm an athlete, because whew, I was working, like I would walk out of that gym sometimes and people would stop me and be like, you did a great job today. I seen you doing those 100 lunges after a hard leg day. I seen you doing the 100 lateral raises after a hard shoulder day. Like, you did it. I was like, that for me was incredible. To be considered an athlete on somebody who's never been one was amazing. I also learned that where I want to go next. So what is next in the plan? So after the whole 12 weeks was done, do I quit? Am I going to quit coaching? No. I'll probably stick with Brenda. I imagine I'll probably stick with her for probably at least 1 more year, minimally, just because I really want to work on toning. I really want to learn more from her. I really want to just kind of figure out a lot more things. And she's such a wealth of information, and she's truly just a friend to me now that I've learned so much from her. So now that the 12 weeks are over, how did I end? I got my treat meal on Friday after we weighed in. We went out for breakfast. And what's crazy now, and I was actually telling this to Brenda, is it wasn't like a thing where I was like gorging all day or anything like that. It wasn't. My appetite isn't really that big anymore. Like, I can't sit down and like max a whole meal or anything like that. And I just don't feel the need. I'm in a very safe and happy place when it comes to my relationship with food. And if you are still struggling with your weight and you're struggling with binging and, you know, using food as a companion, I say this in every video, but I feel like I haven't said it in like the last 2. I would suggest getting some therapy, because it is a disease. Using food as a companion, as an emotional support, it is disordered eating. I think a lot of people assimilate disordered eating with like the two, right? Especially if you're from the 90s like I was. You know, it was anorexia and bulimia. That was the two that, I don't know if YouTube will, you know, hit me for that, so I kind of have to mouth them. But I think if people like, oh, well, I'm not starving myself and I'm not purging, then it's not disordered. That is completely false, and we need to let that go. Because yes, those are like the two bigger ones, but there's also a lot of other categories. And give yourself some grace, okay? Because that's a disease, and you have to heal from a disease and treat it as such. Food addiction is just like any other addiction, you know? And I feel like people don't give you enough credit, because food addiction, you have to eat, right? You don't have to drink alcohol, you don't have to do drugs, you know, but people are more sympathetic to those with, you know, those types of diseases and addictions than they are with somebody who's addicted to food, because you're like, oh, just have one bite, oh, a little bit won't hurt, you know. That's how it is in my family, especially. Oh, a little bit won't hurt. Oh, well, you got to eat this and just try a little bit, you know, where they have good intentions, but it's also like you wouldn't offer an alcoholic a drink and just say you could just have a sip. You know what I mean? Like, you need to have these hard conversations with people. And sometimes I know they're embarrassing, and I've had to have them. Like, you can't offer me these things. I don't want them. I'm okay. But you also have to realize too that addiction transfers. And if you've never really addressed the addiction that you had with food, and you go into something like bodybuilding and you're, you know, severely restricting yourself, or, you know, severely dieting, that's just addiction transfer. And you don't want that either, because you want to thrive. And these are all things that I had to learn through intensive therapy for a while. And I'm still in therapy. I still see my therapist once a month right now. In the summer, I tend to see her a little less, because the sun's out, you know, I'm not in the house. I get really bad seasonal depression, and we're cold here for so long that I kind of lose it in the house for a little bit. So in the summer, I usually see her once a month, and then when it gets colder, I go up to twice a month. But sometimes, you know, there's been times like when I lost people in my family, I had to go once a week for a month. It just depends on how my mood and my month and my life is going. And there's nothing wrong with seeing a therapist at all. I think everybody should have a little therapy, just to have an unbiased person to talk to. So if you're looking for a therapist, I go through Cerebral, the app Cerebral, and I met my therapist through there. You just interview. I went through a couple before I actually found the one that I liked, and I think insurance covers it now too, so definitely look into that. And you could do it from the comforts of your own home, but you could also find somebody local if you wanted to see somebody in person. So now that the cut is over, what is next? So food is going up. We are going up more to a maintenance, so the scale is probably going to go up. Like, I talked to my coach yesterday. She's like, you know, just let you know the scale is going to go up. I do have to go in for another round of blood work, because she wants to see how my, you know, all my labs are. I gotta get my hormones tested just to make sure that my testosterone's good, my estrogen's good. I am getting older, so we want to make sure that everything is working really well. She's very big on labs, so it's been it'll be a year in June that I had them, so it's about time. So I go again in June. And yeah, so we're reversing, we're picking up food, we're adding more carbs, and our training split is going to completely change. She asked me, she's like, all right, well, what do you want to do? What's next? As you guys know, I'm very bottom heavy and I'm very quad dominant. So when I say that, you could see the outer part. I'll pop up that picture again. You could see on the outer part of my thighs and the top part of my thighs, my muscles are very defined. They're very big, right? That's where a lot of my strength is in my quads and the front part of my legs. The weakest part of my legs and the biggest insecurity I have is in the back of my legs. And now that it's summer, I want to wear shorts, and I feel like my hamstrings are severely lacking. So I told her I would really like to build out my hamstrings. I feel like if I can build them out, it might help decrease the appearance of the cellulite as well, and kind of build them out a little bit more and tighten them up. There is some loose skin, so there's just some things that, you know, are not going to be fixable with weight training and diet, but nonetheless, we're just going to work with them. It's not like I'm going to give up because of the loose skin. It just pushes me to keep going. And then my next plan is to build out my back. I really want to expand my lats. I really want to have a more defined back. I want to lay off shoulders because I feel like my shoulders are super well defined and they're very capped off, and they just respond really quickly and really well. It's always been that way. I want to work on some upper arm definition. I don't really have a lot of cuts from, you know, usually because I try to stay in the wellness category. And wellness, you just necessarily don't need to have such defined arms, but they need to be more defined than where I'm at. So we're gonna work on some upper arm strength, and my back and my hamstrings are gonna be main focus. So we're gonna have a lot more leg days, and we're gonna incorporate some back. And I really want to focus more on abs. I'm not gonna lie, throughout the cut, I severely lacked on doing ab work just because I was so heavy with all the other weights that I just didn't have it in me. And I want to focus on ab work this time around. So things are going to change. Other than that, we're going to do a step counter now. I never had a focus on steps before. Now she wants me focusing on steps. Cardio is changing where instead of the time, it's a calorie hit. So if I have to burn 500 calories, if I can do it in 20 minutes, then boom, I'm done in 20 minutes. If it takes me an hour, then honey, I got to take an hour. But nonetheless, I have a calorie hit for cardio instead of a time, which I'm okay with. I prefer to do all my cardio on the stair climber. If you guys can get to a stair climber, that is the one that's going to transform your body. I think that is where I owe all of my, not all of it, but the bigger part of my transformation, I think, came from that cardio on the stair climber. It's super beneficial. I truly love it. I think it's a really great machine. It's super hard, it's super challenging, but all the good things are. Also now, when you'll start seeing full days of eating, I'm going to incorporate the macros at the end of the day so you guys can see my calories. When I was on the cut, I was about 1,780 calories a day. And right now, I think we're sitting at 1,985. So I'm still under 2,000 calories right now. On my low carb days are a little bit different, but when I was on the cut, I think my low carb days were 115 total carbs a day, and then my high carb days I was about 150. So I think a lot of people also too, when they'll say like, oh, you're having oatmeal, that's not low carb. Anything could be lower carb if you cut your portions. I mean, you know, you just got to do the basic math. You know, I think a lot of people get really weary of that, you know. And again, food does not have no morality. Carbs are not good, they're not bad. Fats aren't good, aren't bad. We're using them to keep the machine running and running effectively and running the way we want it to run. So that is the name of the game, my friends. The name of the game is a long, happy, healthy life, looking good, feeling confident, and I feel really, really confident. I feel really, really good. I can't believe I did it. I can't believe, like, if you guys have been with me a long time, I've never looked this way, ever. I don't think I've ever looked this, and I don't want to say this, okay, but I know people are going to be like, oh, but I'm going to say it with my whole chest. You know, I am going to say it. I never looked this good, ever. Like, I'm sure I've been lighter in weight, but the mass, like the muscle mass, the fat loss, like I've never looked this good and felt this strong, and it's really empowering, and I want this for you guys. Now, I'm not saying everybody has to be a muscle mommy or whatever they call it, but I want this confidence. I want this inner peace and this inner fight for you so bad, because I didn't think I was going to be able to do it, and I did it. And I'm going to keep doing it because I can do hard things, because I'm worth it, because I'm strong, because I'm determined, because I'm an athlete. Kind of badass, right? So that's my whole wrap. 7 pounds. I mean, I'm sure there was a lot of inches lost, but as you can see in the pictures, I feel like it was pretty good. We're going to keep doing once a month weigh-in check-in. So this next round is about 3 months, right? About every 2 weeks you change your food. So if you are trying these and you are going to try meal plans and macros and stuff like that, you give yourself 2 weeks. The workouts will stay the same for the whole 12 weeks. You get out of routine, and the thing is, I think a lot of people want to change routines, change workouts, and you don't have to do that. Don't do that. Just do the same thing every day for 12 weeks. The only thing that is going to change is the amount of weight you're pulling, because you're going to progressively overload your body, but the movements will be the same. Stop jumping around. Stop trying to do everything that you see on Instagram or shorts or whatever. Stay consistent on the movements. Increase the weight every week. So I would love to know, without knowing what the scale was, what did you guys think I lost? What do you guys think? What do you guys think of the transformation? Do you guys think it was impressive enough to kind of put yourself through the ringer for 12 weeks? Or you're like, nah, it's not worth it for me? Are you guys more open to following, you know, meal plans and macros, incorporating more carbs in now that you see that it could be done? See how a person who went from virtually having no carbs to having hundreds of them and seeing how they're like, I did not gain a bunch of weight. I didn't get overweight. Like, I am healthier now than I've ever been. What do you think? Would you do it? Am I changing your mind? Am I opening up your mind to a different lifestyle? Again, this is just for weight loss purposes, not for health, okay? But let me know down below. How do you guys think I did? See you on the next one. Bye, friends.